Bismillah Rahman Rahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to the architecture section of the course AR 309, which is about architecture and town planning. It is the lecture number 5. In today's lecture, you will get to know about the major influences on architectural design and construction. So let's move on to our very first slide. What are the potential influences on architecture? From most of the perception and beliefs, architecture is majorly based on inspiration and imaginations and can be bent according to the human desires. Architecture also has the capability to cope with serious issues ranging from global warming to the lack of the accessible housing for vulnerable communities. Apart from that, in the practical world, architecture also has to absorb some of the major constraints of that place, which may seriously affect the architectural design and construction activities. Architecture of any place may be influenced by the following. Number one is the geography. The geography of a place is essential factor in architecture. It is where architects can base their design elements. Some of the things that should be thought of when it comes to geography are the topography or the location of that place where they wish to construct a building on. This is one of the first things that surveyors do, which is to evaluate the location before constructing anything on that particular land. Number second is the climate. Climate is all about the weather conditions of a place. With this, architects have the choice of making designs that are tough only if the weather conditions of the location are harsh. On the other hand, a different design can be made if the location is sunnier than usual. On number third is the religion. Some clients don't have any special requirements pertaining to the religion. However, some have and would ask the architect to cater those requirements into the design. Aside from that, there are few locations where religion is a big deal to the community, and constructing a building that may seem offensive will not be accepted by that community. With that, considerations are specified and are sometimes very strict, and you cannot simply overlook them. Number four is are the social influence. It is more than obvious that the buildings and the entire environment are essentially social and cultural products. Building result from social needs and accommodate a variety of functions such as social, political, economical, religious, and cultural. Their sizes, appearance, location, and forms are governed not simply by the physical factors, by a society, by a society's socio-economic standard. The connection between architecture and society is sometimes ignored. It is something that we have to keep in mind whenever we want to build or design something for people other than ourselves, and not to disturb the society's harmony and appearance. And number five is history. Modern architecture has grown and developed from centuries of innovations and inventions from the past civilizations, which we already have studied in the previous lectures. And while new technology has meant for dramatic changes in how we live and function as a society, many of the basic concepts of architecture still draw on how ancient civilization operated. Dating back to the dawn of humankind, architecture has had to serve similar basic functions but in dramatically different ways. So these are some of the major influences that are act upon the architecture and construction activities. Moving on to our next slide. What is geology and geography? Before learning about geography of a place, we should know the definition of geology at least. Geology, where geo means earth and logi means study. It is further classified as physical geology and historical geology. Physical geology deals with the study of physical features of the earth and processes acting on them. This includes volcanoes, earthquakes, rocks, mountains, and oceans, or any physical features found on earth, and significantly includes to study their properties. For instance, you can refer to the picture of earth sections showing different layers of earth. Fortunately, we will not be discussing that in detail. While the historical geology is the study of history of the Earth and focuses on what happened to the Earth since its formation. Aristotle was the first man to make an observation about the Earth, and this was also the first time that the scientists and philosophers noted the difference between rocks and minerals. The Romans then became very adaptive to utilize the earth extracted stone, especially the marbles. The major differences between geology and geography is that geology deals with the natural structure of the earth, while geography deals with the national borders, and the lines that humans have made on earth. In simple words, geology is the study of minerals and rocks, while geography is on a smaller scale and more specific about the study of physical properties of elements present at the surface of Earth. Geography influences architecture because geography is the lay of the land, and how the land is laid out will determine what type of architecture will look the best and under what conditions it will be more stable or durable. Definition of geography: it is the science which deals with the physical structure and substance of Earth, their history, and processes which act on them. The science that deals with the dynamics and physical history of Earth, the rocks of which it is composed of, and the physical, chemical, and biological changes that Earth has undergone or undergoing, and significantly identify the properties of that specific place or piece of land, which later helps to allocate the land for suitable setup such as industrial, agricultural, residential, and commercial, simultaneously to support the social activities happening on that place, such as irrigation, farming, or construction, etc. The picture at the bottom right of the slide represents an example of a social setup at a larger scale and showing different allocation of social activities that are essential to run a civilized society. Such allocations are recommended by the geographical properties and social demands of that place or land. Moving on to our next slide, geographical influence on architecture. The influence of geography on architecture is different in many places around the world. For instance, here are some examples of social setup and their construction activities that are aligned with the geography of that specific place over the globe. Number one, geography influence in Mexico. Mexico is a land of extremes with high mountains and deep canyons in the center of the country, sweeping desert in the north and dense rainforests in the south and east. Mountains covered much of the Mexico, therefore adobes are ideal for location like Mexico, where the climate is hot and dry. Because it can disintegrate quickly when exposed to the regular moisture, it is not appropriate that areas that remain damp or rainy year around. Materials to make adobe and roof tiles were readily available and suitable to the hot and dry climate of the region. The slide also has the picture of adobe houses, exterior and interiors, just to visualize the scene. Second is the geographical influence in Jamaica. Jamaica is an island country of the West Indies. Jamaica features diverse land. A plot of land may be completely flat, have a slight grade on a very steep grade, or a very steep grade. The homes are built around the land with the foundations contouring the elevation and the grade. Homes may be built on uneven land and subsequently are multi-level. The pictures are showing the uneven land of Jamaica with natural landscapes, contours, and sea, which multiplies the beauty of the built environment and architecture of that place. जमाइका का जो बेसिकली एक आइलैंड है जो कि उसका लैंड है वो या तो बहुत ही टिल्टेड है और बहुत ही रेयर इस तरह होता है कि जो फ्लैट लैंड होता है वो अवेलेबल होता है तो उसका ड्रॉबैक क्या होता है या उनका पॉजिटिव उसको अगर हम लेंगे तो जो उनके हाउसेज होते हैं वो डिफरेंट लेवल्स पे होते हैं मतलब जैसे अगर उनकी जो एंट्रेंस है वो अगर ग्राउंड लेवल पे है उसी तरह जो उसका लाउंज है कनेक्टेड है वो 6 इंच रेज्ड हो गया उसी तरह जो अदर उनके फ्लोर्स हैं वो भी इसी तरह डिफरेंट लेवल्स के अंदर होते हैं तो ये उनको एक आर्किटेक्चरल फीचर जो होता है वो उनको बेसिकली नेचुरली अडॉप्ट करना पड़ता है और वो उनको डिज़ाइन में उसको कोप करके उसको और भी ब्यूटीफुली यूटिलाइज करते हैं नंबर थर्ड इज द इन्फ्लुएंस ऑफ जियोग्राफी इन जापान Japan is situated in the Ring of Fire in the basin of the Pacific Ocean. Because of this, a lot of tsunamis and earthquake occurs here, destroying the homes and important buildings. Architects and engineers in Japan are now coming up with a home levitation system that could protect homes against the earthquakes in Japan. Geography is now influencing the process of making architecture better and safe. This slide also has the picture of damages and loss produced by the earthquakes, and on the right side has this section showing how a levitation systems work. If you can see a normal house, it has the foundation, normal foundation, but on the other side it has the levitation systems which works in earthquakes to prevent it from the damages. Number 4 is the geography influence in Australia. Current environmental issues in Australia are erosion from overgazing. ओवरगेजिंग बेसिकली जो है वो जो लैंड का मिसकेयर करने से होती है, जो ज़्यादा से जो उसको जैसे अगर उनके वहाँ पे एनिमल्स हैं वो उसको अगर ज़्यादा ही चरते हैं तो लैंड जो है वो डिसवैल्यू हो जाती है. Industrial development, urbanizations and poor farming practices are the main reasons that cause the overgazing and erosion. In this case, building and other architectural structures cannot be built in these regions of Australia because of the problematic geography features that have happened over the time. Erosion causes loss of topsoil, reduces the crop yields, damages the infrastructures, and leaves behind a worthless piece of land. If you get to see the picture on the left, it is an example of land erosion, and on the right side the picture is showing the damages caused by the erosion. On number 5 is the geographical influence in Africa. Africa's physical geography and environment can be considered separately, but one common thing throughout the Africa is that Africa is very hot. African used materials to build buildings are all dependent on the region, as they prefer locally available materials. In North Africa, for stone, they use rammed earth that is made of chalk, lime, and gravel. And in the West Africa, they use mud for adobes because of the geographical recommendation of these two regions of Africa. The pictures on the slide are representing the houses in North Africa on the left and houses in the West Africa on the right side are the examples of their construction practices. So that is all with the examples. Now let's proceed to the practical implications of geography in architecture and civil engineering as well. Moving on to the next slide. Evaluation of physical geography or land properties. There is always some handy tools and techniques to evaluate and measure something. In case of physical geography of the land, there are some professional techniques to utilize to measure the various parameters of Earth's surface. By identifying those, the data and information then helps in align the type of construction with the geography of that particular place. Such data includes the location of the plot, coordinates, site contours, and existing land conditions, such as what foundation type is recommended on that selected chunk of land. Either the pile foundation or the raft foundation will be suitable to support the building. The data and information of Earth's surface features is majorly collected by the following professional methods. A is the land survey and B is the land assessment. Land survey is the scientific process carried out by survey and leveling engineers for measuring the dimension of a particular area of a surface of the earth, including horizontal distances, directions, angles, contours, and elevations. Artificial structures such as a road or building may also be noted on a survey. Once these measurements are taken, they can be used to make a map or even a globe. Land assessment refers to the testing of land features found on the surface of the earth to determine the suitability of land and evaluate whether it can accommodate the building. Land testing is usually performed to determine the strength density, compaction, contamination, organics, and sand content, and identify their impacts on the construction. For example, soil testing, material grading tests, and field density tests are some of the example of land assessment. On the left, the picture just appeared is a topographic survey of a hilly site and showing the contours on the map, and it is a product of land survey. However, there are also some other maps utilized to locate the plot and to claim the ownership of that particular piece of land, which are usually known as site plan of a house, which is allotted to the owner of that plot prior to the construction. And I believe most of the students have seen this site plan. On the right side, the small picture is showing the land parameters that are identified after the borehole. It determines the capability of that particular land to support the various nature of construction processes. Such assessments are called as geotechnical investigations. Moving on to our next slide, selection of foundation based on geographical investigations. Foundations. Whether constructing a single unit bungalow, skyscraper, or structures, choosing the proper foundation is very essential. The foundation of any building serves two main purposes. Number one is to distribute the weight from load bearing walls to the soil or bedrock beneath. And second is to keep the groundwater or soil moisture away from the building. The topography, geology, and pedology. Pedology is the study of the soil. On your construction site, in addition to the size of your building, and other factors will determine the type of foundation that is appropriate for your building. So, what are the types of foundations? Giving the land beneath our feet can can be comprised of many different types of soils, stones, sediments, and more. Geotechnical engineers must have sound knowledge of how these variables within the earth impact the construction activities and structural integrity. There are two main categories of foundations in construction, which are deep and shallow. Deep foundations are required when building on sand and other soft soil that will not be able to absorb the load of the building. Instead, a foundation must be established deep underground or even underwater, where contact with stronger layers of the earth can be established. Usually, in case of constructing bridges, piers, and dams, engineers must lay foundations underwater to stabilize the structural integrity and strengthen the land contact. This is where deep foundations become essential to the construction of large and important structures. Number second, shallow foundations. Typically, a shallow foundation is one that is wider than its depth. Shallow foundation can also be called spread or open footings. For obvious reasons, shallow foundations are the more economical. As they don't require much of the digging or boring into the earth, and for that reason, they are also very common. Shallow foundations are useful when the building is not exceedingly heavy and the soil can bear significant amount of weight at a shallow depth. Foundations are further categorized into more specific types based on geotechnical investigation and type of the building, but I believe you might have already covered that in other courses. I am intentionally skipping the climatic influence on architecture as it has very extensive knowledge to share and it requires more attention. Therefore, it will be included in the next or coming lecture. Moving on to our next slide, religious influence on architecture. What is religion? Religion is a particular system of faith and worship and majorly reflects on the way of our living. Also, religion in terms is a worldview and a set of beliefs that seek to offer an explanation for a series of questions that are raised during the human life, such as who created the world, what is the purpose of life, what are the good and what are the bad, and how to live. Since the beginning of human history, art has always been majorly attached with the religious subjects, expression, and concepts, which significantly influences the human life, society, and architecture. Therefore, people started to shape their buildings according to their religious beliefs. In different regions, religion affects the architecture of religious buildings and also some of the dedicated portions of their houses and commercial buildings. Influence of religion in the field of architecture has become the subject of extensive research. Old rituals of worship did not show or demand any indoor or private place necessity for worship. But in the modern days, one can easily witness private worship places as per modern society needs or modified religious practices. For instance, Buddhism believed to keep the objects and sacred human remains. Therefore, they required an indoor place to keep their ancestors' remain privately by dedicating a separate room or a hall. But in small houses, small decorative objects are placed at any corner to fulfill the purpose. This means any home can accommodate the shrine of ancestors, as shown on the slide. They also required a dedicated building, which is the temple, as a united community worship place. Similarly, in Hindu religion, compact worship spaces can be found privately in houses, and also a mandir is required for their community worship. In Christianity, compact or private worship places are very rare to be seen because, according to the Christian beliefs, they can talk to God directly through prayer and usually say prayer before eating. They still follow their old rituals and visit the churches for worship, marriages, and funerals. In Islam, Salat is the obligatory Muslim prayers performed 5 times each day by a Muslim at the mosque, but only females are allowed to pray at home. Dedicated prayer halls in commercial buildings or offices are allocated to cope with the modern society needs and ultimately to save time, except the Jummah prayers, which is performed at the Grand Mosque or we call it Jamia Masjid. Such modified religious practices are the emerging demands of modern societies, which have majorly evolved the grand ancient religious architecture to compact but accessible new form. Architecture is a process that directly related to the people beliefs. It is observed that every religion and country has its own architecture. We can find that religion plays a major role in architecture. The religion shows its effect on the building more than other factors. As we can see, two different buildings having the same land properties, weather, and climate, but having different architecture styles. One is the mosque, built on the principles of Islam, comprising of a grand dome and tall minarets, with embossed Islamic art patterns and calligraphy. While other is a church with separate architectural identities based on Christians' religious beliefs. The picture is showing the contrast of religious architecture located on the same land and are adjacent to each other. But on the left is the Madhe Mosque, and on the right is Church of the Holy Emperor Urus. They are located on the land of Serbia. Furthermore, the unique religious architectural identities and architectural details are already provided in previous lectures. Therefore, we will not be discussing that in this lecture. I will now try to conclude the religious influence on architecture. There is a close relation between religion and art, and since architecture is a branch of art, it can see very effects of religion on the architecture of buildings, including that the impact of religion on the lives of people in various regions, particularly in the heavenly religions such as Islam and Christianity. Therefore, it is notable that religion affects significantly in architectural design and construction of religious buildings. Architects have to follow or prioritize the religious protocols rather than showing creativity, as their construction and internal decorations are also more specific in terms of material selection, color choice, sacred patterns, and specific architecture elements to maintain their unique religious identities. So this sums up the religious influence on architecture and construction of the important buildings. So thank you so much for your attention. In the next lecture, we will continue to learn about the major influences on architecture and construction. So see you in live session. Thank you very much. Allah Hafiz.